This is the Mini Cooper S, but it's a weirder, more quirky Cooper S than usual. And that's because this one's celebrating Mini's 20-year anniversary of being back in the US. So thanks to International Mini for letting me have a go in the most American Mini yet. Over the years doing Downshift, I've spent next to no time behind the wheel of Minis, which now seems like a complete crime, especially considering I like weird cars. And these are some of the weirdest cars on the road. But you know another word for weird? Personality. And usually a Mini will put its personality on display with nods to its English heritage in exterior styling details that vary in subtlety. However, not the case here. To celebrate 20 years of Mini in the US, the Cooper S swaps out the Union Jack for the Stars and Stripes. And we'll get into that when we do our exterior walk around, but what I'm interested in here is whether or not this is a normal Cooper S or something a little different. Well, it gets the same 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder making 189 horsepower and 206 pound-feet of torque. You get the same gearbox and the same 6.5 second 0 to 60 sprint. So if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, goes like a duck, well, it's probably a Mini Cooper S. And to me, that's perfectly fine because it remains then as a fun, peppy little 4-door hatchback. The steering has a little bit of a voice telling you what's happening up front. The damping is soft enough to really enjoy daily duty and stiff enough to encourage a little hustle from time to time. The brakes are solid and it doesn't sound like a rattle can like so many other 4-cylinders. So is it fun to drive? Yeah, of course, it's a Cooper S. And it's fun because it doesn't have a million horsepower. It's fun because you can drive the absolute pants off of it without going to federal prison. But some of the most fun things aren't even happening behind the wheel. So let's take a step outside and I'll show you what I mean. And that's kind of the elephant in the room, isn't it? You can have a fun car without it being a supercar. You can have a fun car without it making a million horsepower and doing the quarter mile in negative 4.8 seconds. And to some people, to a lot of people really, a fun car is something that has a little bit of spunk, has a lot of personality, and you just like being in and driving in it. So many cars these days go so aggressively on the sporty side that they just kind of let everything else be kind of blah and drab, and that's not what's happening here. All of these Minis that I've had experience with, especially this one, are just oozing personality. This 20th anniversary car is only available in chili red, island blue, or what we have here, pepper white, aka the colors that make up the British and American flags. They also all get red and white offset hood stripes with a star at the point, as well as a bigger star on the passenger side of the hood. You have black accented grille along with other accents along the headlights, door handles, and A-pillars. You've got 17-inch tentacle style wheels, you've got a silver wing mirror and a silver roof with roof rails, and the dual pano roof. There's an American flag accent on the front fender, as well as a red, white, and blue 20 decal on the lower driver and passenger side door. The black accenting continues down the body with the B, C, and D pillars, along with your gas cap and your wheel arches. But there's one more small 20-year edition decal that you might have missed if you hadn't been looking hard enough. It's right at the top of your D pillar next to the tailgate hinge. And the rear styling is a bit interesting because while this is the 20-year edition and you still have the offset stripe continuing onto your tailgate lid, you also still have the Union Jack style tail lights, along with a black mustache for your rear trunk, as well as some dual center mounted exhaust. So the exterior design remains unmistakably Mini, but with some fun American accents. But the personality doesn't stop there, so let's hop inside and check that out. And while the interior on this thing is a little bit more subtle than the exterior, you still get a bunch of cool little details around the cabin to remind you that you've got the 20-year edition, and you still have a bunch of personality that way. You have mirrored offset stripes from the hood and the tailgate on the passenger side of your dash and the driver's side of your dash. You also have a 20-year edition decal on the lower portion of your 3-pointed steering wheel. And if you open up any of the doors, you'll see that you have a nice reminder and a nice decal on all of your door sills. And the rest of it is largely Mini Cooper S, which is a good thing because, like I said, these Minis have some of the most personality on the lot today. Most cars use rectangles to dominate the interior because screens are that shape and they simply fit the interior. Not Mini though. There are circles everywhere. The most dominating one though is on your center stack. The center light does stuff based on whatever you're doing. Does it serve a truly practical purpose? Not exactly, but sometimes those are the most fun things. If you adjust your volume, it goes up. If you back up and you get too close, you have sensors to indicate that you're green, yellow, or red too close to something. You've got climate controls, you've got fan speed animations, and of course, you have adjustments for drive modes. Another fun thing is you get toggles overhead and below to operate things from your ambient light to turning on the car. Again, most cars would use toggle switches to feel hardcore or like a fighter jet, but there's a sense of silliness and levity here that's just cool. But it's not all quirky shapes and fun gimmicks in here. You of course have things that you use all the time, like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's not quite perfect though. It doesn't have a 360 camera, the phone integration isn't wireless, and the circle theme is cool and fun, but it does result in a slightly smaller screen than you may get elsewhere. And some of these things are more nitpicks than actual issues, but in terms of the actual practicality of the Mini, it's shockingly big on the inside. The rear seats I can actually fit in. You have a nice pano roof, a dedicated second row roof to bring in light and feel more spacious. The build is excellent, and the trunk is big enough, and you have a hatch for maximum practicality. So between the spunky characteristics outside, the cool and unique details of the exterior, and then the completely unconventional take to an interior, this thing remains truly and unmistakably Mini, and I think that's probably a good time to get into the final thoughts. So there it is, the Mini Cooper S 20th Anniversary Edition. It's exactly what the name suggests. It's a Cooper S with buckets of playful, lighthearted personality, but this time with the Murica decal pack. This little car continues to be loads of fun even before the ignition is on. So thanks again to International Mini for letting me have a go.